And 3 minutes later, they were back in the center again. After that, they simply couldn't get anywhere else. Whatever way they turned brought them back to the middle. It became so regular at length that some of the people stopped there and waited for the others to take a walk around and came back to them. Harris drew out his map again after a while, but the sight of it only infuriated the mob, and they told him to go and curl his hair with it. Harris said that he couldn't help feeling that, to a certain extent, he had become unpopular. They all got crazy at last and sang out for the keeper, and the man came and climbed up the ladder outside and shouted out directions to them. But all their heads were by this time in such a confused whirl that they were incapable of grasping anything. And so the man told them to stop where they were, and he would come to them. They huddled together and waited, and he climbed down and came in. He was a young keeper, as luck would have it, and new to the business, and when he got in, he couldn't get to them, and then he got lost. They caught sight of him every now and then, rushing about the other side of the hedge, and he would see them and rush to get to them, and they would wait there for about 5 minutes, and then he would reappear again in exactly the same spot and ask them where they had been. They had to wait until one of the old keepers came back from his dinner before they got out. Harris said he thought it was a very fine maze, so far as he was a judge, and we agreed that he would try to get George to go into it. On our way back. Chapter number 7. It was while passing through Molsey Lock that Harris told me about this maze experience. It took us some time to pass through as we were the only boat, and it is a big lock. I don't think I ever remember to have been Molsey before with only one boat in it. It is, I suppose, bolters not even expected, the busiest lock on the river. I have stood and watched it sometimes when you could not see any water at all, but only a brilliant tangle of bright blazers and gay caps, and saucy hats and many-colored parasols, and silken rugs and cloaks and streaming ribbons, and dainty whites. When looking down into the lock from the quay, you might fancy it was a huge box into which flowers of every hue and shade had been thrown, pell-mell, and lay piled up in a rainbow heap that covered every corner. On a fine Sunday, it presents this appearance nearly all day long, while up the stream and down the stream lie waiting their turn. Outside the gates, long lines of still more boats, and boats are drawing near and passing away, so that the sunny river from the palace up to Hampton Church is dotted and decked with yellow and blue and orange and white and red and pink. All the inhabitants of Hampton and Molsey dressed themselves up in boating costumes. and come and march round the clock with their dogs and flirt and smoke and watch the boats and all together. What with the caps and jackets of the men, the pretty colored dresses of women, the excited dogs, the moving boats, the white sails, the pleasant landscape, and the sparkling water. It is one of the gayest sights I know of near this dull, old London town. The river affords a good opportunity for dress. For once in a way, we men are able to show our taste in colours. And I think we come out very nutty, if you ask me. I always like a little red in my things. Red and black, you know. My hair is a sort of golden brown, rather a pretty shade I have been told, and a dark red matches it beautifully. And then I always think a light blue necktie goes so well with it, and a pair of those Russian leather shoes, and a red silk handkerchief round the waist. A handkerchief looks so much better